Hey, I'm Jamey from Stillmeyer Games, and today I'm going to talk about my favorite mechanism in the game Tokaido Duo. Essentially a two-player version of the classic game, the modern classic game Tokaido, but it's really its own game within the Tokaido universe. So one of the core mechanisms of Tokaido is a one-way action selection track where you have one character and you can move that character pretty much as far forward on that track as you want to, and then you claim the resulting benefit. And the player whose turn it is in Tokaido, the original Tokaido, is the player who's furthest in the back of that line. Tokaido Duo takes this concept and it multiplies it by 3. And that is kind of the essence of the game. Everything that Tokaido has, even though it's only a 2-player game, there are 3 different versions of it in Tokaido Duo. Namely, in Tokaido Duo, there are 3 different characters. And really, I'm going to talk about multiple mechanisms here, but I really appreciate how all of the mechanisms in the game stem from this concept of each player having 3 characters instead of just 1 character. So one of the characters moves around this coast of the island, of Shikoku Island, clockwise. So you can move along this path, and it's instead of moving as far as you want, it is a certain number. There's a dice mechanism in this game that determines how far you can move. So you're moving a certain number of spaces along this track. That's if you choose I'm going to forget the names of the characters, but one of the characters moves around the coast. One of the characters moves along these yellow lines. So they are going back and forth between towns and the coast. And so they're kind of jutting around here, acquiring goods and then selling goods to the coast. The character around the edge is doing they're visiting different locations to get certain bonuses and to gain a scoring multiplier for the end of the game. This player, again, in the middle, this character is gaining goods and then selling the goods. They have a money-focused strategy. And the last character exists in the middle of these spaces, and they are moving around between these spaces to paint pictures and to gift those pictures to people. So it's 3 different mini games, 3 different characters, 3 different ways of moving around and interacting with this board, and some of which have connections to what the other player is doing or what other characters are doing. Like the painter is gaining more tokens or revealing more tokens based on the number of characters that are kind of adjacent to the territory that they're currently in. And last tied to this 3 mechanism thing is that there are 3 ways to end the game, each one tied to the character. Each character has these mini games, and when they complete the mini game, that triggers the end of the game, but you still get to score all 3 of the mini games that you were accomplishing. So I love that in a game that's distilled down to 2 players, so a 2-player game, that they actually multiplied the possibilities of what you can do by giving each player 3 characters, each of which has their own character mat, their own little mini game that they're trying to accomplish, and you're trying to balance which character to use at any given time and how to maximize each of those characters based on the dice that you're rolling and kind of drafting each round. There are 3 dice you're rolling. One player will end up with 2 of those dice and using 2 characters. The other character will gain the other die, and then it switches to the other player. So on any given turn, you're doing something. You're just doing more if it's actually your turn. So yeah, in a duo game, the magic number is actually 3, and I thought that was really clever how that number is implemented throughout Tokaido Duo. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments about your favorite aspects of Tokaido Duo, or if you've played a duet, duel style game that you thought did some really interesting things in a more constrained design space where they actually opened up the design space. Instead of having 1 character, they had 3 characters, for example, in Tokaido Duo. Let me know about that in the comments below. Thanks.